Hello, thank you for joining me once again. I am going to do a, let's get this other palette out the way. Minnie Mouse, a painting of Minnie Mouse. And we're going to make her pink and white. She normally does the red. Red may be a bit harsh on this one. I think, and the red that I have is a weird color red, so it's almost like a fuchsia color. It's not quite red. It looks red, but it's not quite red. So we're gonna improvise. For the background I'm going to use the cerulean blue, which I just need a touch of orange in it, not much. Just to tone down the bite of the blue. It makes it look like a dirty color. Everything looks different on the camera anyway. It's a weird color. So set that over there. So, oh, sorry about that. I'm not, I did a limited palette. I don't really need any yellow. Sometimes I put the colors down anyway, and I will work them in because that's what I do. But for the warm colors, I just have orange and red. And the cool colors, I have a cerulean blue, an ultramarine blue, and a black and a white. I am going to do a Mickey Mouse painting as well, so that'll be on the next video. But for this one, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to use this like sky color. It's really cerulean blue. That's why we use it on the sky. See, so it's there, but it's going to be sort of a dingy sky color, which will be okay. Normally for Mickey and Minnie, we do the black. Do the mice, and we normally do the black. However, I'm not going to use black on a painting. The black tends to take all the attention away from everything going on in the painting. So I'm using this cerulean blue with a little orange in it to tone it down, and it's doing what is called graying the color. You want to avoid using the black when you're doing a painting, and the reason being is because the black will take over the painting, and it will cause it to suck all the light into the painting. I'm doing the edges as well with what color is here. And you don't want it to suck all the light, because wherever it does that, it's going to take the attention away from the rest of the painting. You want your painting to be seen as an overall unit. Some darks and lights will be okay. I just don't want it to take away too much from it. But that, I think the light pink is really, warm colors draw. All except that black. It sucks. But it sucks the light. But I don't want the red to be there. And you can use whatever color you want. It's up to you what color you want to use. And I am going a little over the lines, which I always go over the line because you don't want that white halo around your painting. You don't want it. And I am going horizontally because if we were outside, this would be the sky. Sky is the limit. I want the imagination to run wild. But I also want to direct your attention to the painting, the focal point, which is Minnie in the middle. I think up and down um, movement would take away from that. So I'm going to do this top and the sides. And you want to paint the color that's there. Bring it right on over that edge. It looks so much better when you hang it on the wall and you don't use a frame around it. It looks really nice. And that's all that's needed for that. So I'm going to wash that brush off a little there. Now we'll go into Minnie. Her gloves are white. When we paint, we use some other tint, which I'll probably use the blue in on that white glove. Her face is going to be a brown color, so we need a brown. And we already know the better brown from a previous painting is going to be the ultramarine blue mixed with some orange. It's going to give us a dark, rich brown because they're complementary colors. They gray each other out, so to speak. It's a really dark, rich brown. If I move, and my card's right, move good. I can use this for the next paint. So I just need a tint of that brown. I don't really need that much brown. And this is where some of the yellow will come in really handy, but I don't have any, so no worries. Now we're going to go ahead and paint her face. We just needed a tint. I'm painting right over the eyelashes because it won't matter. And I'm putting it on the outside of the face intentionally. I'm going to wash that brush off and dry it off. And I'm going to just get some straight white and come right in here and go around. And the tint that's on there, look, it's going to be marvelous. What's happening is, so I cleaned the brush so it wasn't dirty, but the paint here is still wet, and so it will blend here and there just enough to give me what I need. And I don't want it well blended. I want the darker color on the outside because it'll give her face volume. And of course I can reshape the nose here while I'm doing this. Shaping the face as if I'm putting on makeup. That's what you do. Now you can see her face is not all one color. I can take a touch of that dark color and put it here on this side of the nose. Just kind of make the nose stand out a little. And okay, so the rest of her outline is black, and I don't want to use black, so I'm going to use a blue, and her hands are going to be white. So I'm going over here in this clean white to paint here, and I'm going to paint her glove white here. Paint her glove white over here. I'll paint in her eyes up here. I'm just putting the white here because her eyes aren't really white. Remember, our white, we have to add a tint to it. There. So now I'm going to use the blue. Well, I'm going to need, it's going to make it look awful because I don't have the right color. Let's see, I'm going to use a little of that orange. And I'm going to paint down here on one side of her eye. That, wipe that off. Go back with that white and come right in over the top of that. And just zhuzh it on that side. Around. Her eyeball is round. See there? So it's not, now, you may not be able to see that. So it's not orange, but it's not white. You want it to have a flesh tone, and that's why I need a little yellow on there, but we're going to use the orange instead. So her pupil will be black. We'll need a little blue on the gloves. That's going to be sort of a black. So we're going to take a little blue. See how much blue? I just barely put some blue on there. And we're going to put it on just sort of outline the glove. We need the glove outline. See there? Just barely. So let's see if we have enough still on here. We're just barely outlining the glove. And there's enough paint on there to smudge it where we need it. Because that's all we're doing. Going over, now I'm going around the finger to smudge some of that color. That's it. I want you to see that. Just blobs of paint in there. I didn't bother. We're going to leave those alone. Now her bow, that's where the pink will come in. So her pupils, her eyes, and her nose, ears, outline of her face is a black, which is really going to be a dark blue color. So I'm going to cheat. I can paint her thing one color. That red there, blob of pink. I can paint it one solid color, as you can. I'm going to do a little cheat kind of thing. I'm going to paint around in some spots. You know why? Mm-hmm. Looks like polka dots. And so now all I have to do is fill in the rest. See that? You don't need a whole lot. Now, this is pink. I use red and white to make it. So for the shadow color to make it pop, I'd use red. Mm-hmm. And blend it like we did the blue on the white of the gloves. So I'm not even going to clean my brush. I'm going to take a very small piece of that red. And there's a line here. Remember, there's the little bow goes this way. So the brush is still dirty. I didn't wash it at all. Following the puffiness of what the bow would be. Doing a little on the bottom of that little bow, the little tie. Not much is needed. It just kind of makes it pop a little, not much. Outlining where it is. Just going over the shape of what the bow is. That's that. All right, the only thing left is the black. And so for the black, we're really going to make a Prussian blue, which is going to be this ultramarine blue mixed with some black. We're using the black, but it's going to be a really deep blue. That way it doesn't suck all the life out the painting. Here we have it. So we need to do her nose. Leave that little white speck on there to make it look like light-headed. Her ears had to get a little bigger. You try to steady your hand by holding it on the table. It gives you much more control than holding it in the air like I just did. Now I'm adding a little water. Because that dark on dark is really going to make it impossible to see the eyelashes. Minnie has to have her lashes, you guys. Come on. I went for the one edge and made the other edge too big. Don't forget, turn your canvas if you need to. Don't make it hard to paint. You need to do the eyes inside here. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna rinse most of that off because I really want to go in and paint the eyelashes and around the eye, but I don't have a brush that's narrow like that. So what I'm going to try to do is use a, see if it let me do it. You can use a gel ink pen or a marker. I think this is black. Let me see if that's dry. So I'm going to steady my hand. Let me turn it to the side and you can see it. Got my hand being in the way. So I'm going to steady my hand because part of the painting is wet. Much better. Much better. If I did it with the brush, it would have been too wide. So now it'll all dry and it'll be perfect. If you like, you can go in and add more paint to the ears. Sometimes I prefer the look of messy painting over solid coverage. It gives it a little character. It's wet still. I just stroked that in on her face. I'm going to take that off. That's it. So thank you guys. I mean, you can add little highlights of white here or there to the ear. And if you do, go around the shape of the ear. But I think I'm going to leave it like it is and call it quits for that. Thank you so very much for joining me. Until next time, hit the like and subscribe button to show a little channel love.